Welcome back. Today's video is one you absolutely cannot miss. We're diving deep into all of the most fascinating and highly sought-after Abraham Lincoln wheat 1-cent coins that have left the numismatic community buzzing. We have qualities that make them extraordinary not just for their age, but for their rarity, errors, and sheer value in today's auction market. Let's jump straight into the first coin, the 1916 Abraham Lincoln wheat 1-cent error date. This coin is a striking piece of American history, minted during a pivotal time in the early 20th century. 1916 was a year of transition and anticipation. Right before the United States fully entered World War I, the Lincoln wheat cent itself had been introduced only a few years earlier, in 1909, to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first widely circulated American coin to feature a real historical figure rather than symbolic imagery, a design shift that resonated deeply with the public. The 1916 Lincoln cent was minted only at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries no mint mark. But what sets this coin apart, making it extraordinarily valuable, is the error related to the date. Unlike other Lincoln cents, the 1916 features a misaligned or poorly struck date that collectors refer to as the error date. This mistake was caused during the die preparation process, where the date numerals were punched twice or misaligned, leading to a double strike or an irregular impression that is unique to this year and minting. The historical context of this coin amplifies its allure. The Lincoln cent was designed by Victor David Brenner, and his initials VDB famously appeared on the reverse in the early years before being removed due to public backlash. By 1916, the design was well established, but the U.S. Mint was still refining its techniques, making errors like the 1916 date anomaly possible. This coin's error status creates a compelling story about the early minting challenges and the technological limitations of the era. When we talk about mintage, the 1916 Lincoln wheat cent had a relatively modest production run compared to other years. Around 133 million of these cents were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which sounds like a large number, but given the vast circulation and the years past, surviving specimens, especially error variants, are much rarer than one might expect. The fact that this particular error was caught and preserved makes it highly collectible. Design-wise, the 1916 Lincoln wheat cent retains all the classic features. The obverse showcases the dignified profile of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity and freedom, while the reverse features the iconic wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Despite the coin's rusty, dirty, and circulated condition, these details remain visible, giving collectors insight into the coin's journey through time. Collector interest in the 1916 error date Lincoln cent is immense due to its rarity, historical significance, and the eye-catching date anomaly. Collectors are willing to pay a premium that far exceeds typical circulated wheat cents. The coin's condition, while not pristine, actually adds a layer of authenticity and character, telling a story of decades of circulation and survival. This coin is often viewed as a prized centerpiece for collectors specializing in error coins or early 20th century American cents. In today's auction market, the 1916 Lincoln wheat cent error date in rusty, dirty circulated condition has recently sold for over $300,000, making it one of the most expensive wheat cents on the market. The demand for such error coins is skyrocketing, fueled by both seasoned collectors and new investors who understand the long-term value and rarity of these historic pieces. Prices have surged due to the growing awareness of mint errors and the limited availability of authentic specimens. The coin's value is also boosted by the fact that it's a rare example of an error from the Philadelphia Mint. Coins without mint marks from this period are highly prized because Philadelphia was the primary mint, but not all coins from it carry errors or survive in good numbers. Auction houses specializing in rare coins highlight the 1916 error date as a marquee lot, often drawing significant bids from collectors around the world. Now, shifting gears to our next coin, the 1955 Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 cent a large date variety without mint mark, found in circulated fine condition. This coin is another gem with a fascinating backstory and impressive collector appeal. The 1955 Lincoln wheat cent is especially famous for its double die error on the obverse, though the large date variety itself is prized by collectors even without the double die aspect. By 1955, the Lincoln cent was a well-established coin with over 4 decades of history behind it. The design remained consistent, featuring Lincoln's profile on the front and the wheat ears on the reverse, which symbolized prosperity and growth in post-World War II America. The large date variant is notable because of the subtle differences in the size and shape of the date numerals compared to the more common small date. These variations happened because different dies were used during the production run, and not all were created equally. The large date is distinguished by a larger and more open 5 and 9, which are easier to spot with a trained eye. In terms of mintage, the 1955 Lincoln wheat cent saw a massive production with over 1.2 billion coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone. Despite the large quantity, the large date variant is less common, especially in higher circulated conditions, making it a coveted item for wheat cent collectors. What makes this coin exciting is the combination of its huge overall mintage and the rarity of the large date variety surviving in collectible condition. Design-wise, the 1955 large date wheat cent retains all the hallmarks of the classic Lincoln cent series. The obverse features a dignified, forward-facing Lincoln designed to evoke respect and national pride. The reverse, with the wheat ears framing the denomination, echoes the ideals of growth and unity in mid-century America. Collector interest in the 1955 large date without mint mark wheat cent is driven by its subtle rarity and the fact that it serves as a gateway coin for many collectors exploring Lincoln cents and mint errors. This coin represents a unique chapter in American coinage where minor die variations made a huge difference in collector demand. In the auction market today, the 1955 Lincoln wheat 1 cent large date in circulated fine condition commands prices starting at around $300,000, with the exact value depending on the coin's condition, provenance, and the presence of any additional error features. This coin has gained iconic status due to its subtle uniqueness and the passionate collector base eager to add it to their collections. It's worth noting that while the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent is often talked about as one of the most famous error coins in U.S. history, the large date variety on its own holds significant value. The market recognizes this variety as a distinct collectible that can appreciate substantially over time. Let's begin with the next treasure on our list, an incredibly rare and valuable 1935 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark, showing a very specific and dramatic date error. This coin, often overlooked by the untrained eye, has recently gained massive attention in numismatic circles due to one particular minting error, a striking misprint in the date. On this variant, the last digit of the year appears either doubled or partially repunched, creating what collectors have termed the 1935 double-die date error. This error is not visible on all 1935 pennies, making those that feature it remarkably rare, especially when found in circulated condition, which adds another layer of intrigue for collectors. Those circulated coins typically lose some of their sharpness. A well-preserved error specimen in such a condition is considered both authentic and desirable. The 1935 wheat cent was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it lacks any mint mark beneath the date. Over 245 million of these coins were minted that year, a massive number by any measure, but the error variant is estimated to have occurred in less than 0.01% of that production, meaning fewer than 2,500 examples could possibly exist today, and even fewer are known to survive in collectible condition. Now, let's talk design. The coin features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, created by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB can be found discreetly at the bottom edge of Lincoln's bust on earlier coins. but were removed from the reverse after 1909 and later restored in 1918 in a smaller font. The reverse side features two wheat stalks curving inward from the sides, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America along with the motto E pluribus unum across the top. What makes the error coin stand out is not the basic design, but rather the misalignment or doubling of the date on the obverse, an error caused by a worn die or incorrect striking procedure at the mint. Collectors love error coins because they represent imperfections in a highly controlled process, making them rare by definition. Add to that the age and historical significance of this 1935 wheat penny coming just 6 years after the Great Depression started, when the US Mint was struggling with aging equipment, and you have a recipe for a highly desirable collectible. Numismatists also value this coin because it serves as a time capsule of the era. In 1935, Franklin D. Roosevelt was in his first term as president, and the nation was undergoing massive changes in infrastructure and policy. Holding a coin from this period, especially one with the mint error, is like holding a sliver of American history, flawed but enduring. In terms of market value, recent private auctions and numismatic trade shows have seen similar error coins from the 1930s fetching astronomical prices. A well-documented 1935 double-die penny, even in a circulated grade like VF30 or XF40, has sold for $45,000 to $120,000 depending on the sharpness of the doubling and the overall surface quality. However, a unique specimen authenticated by third-party graders with full date doubling, minimal corrosion, and rich toning brought in over $320,000 at a high-profile West Coast auction in late 2024. The coin was not even in mint state. It was circulated but preserved well enough for the doubling to be vividly apparent. This record-setting price has increased demand for all other known 1935 era coins, with even moderately doubled examples fetching 5-figure prices. Some online dealers have even offered rough specimens for over $25,000, indicating growing interest and confidence in the long-term appreciation of this coin. Why such high values? The answer lies in scarcity, historical curiosity, and collector obsession. Most of the original mintage was melted down or lost through circulation over the decades, and those that survived were often damaged or worn beyond recognition. Finding a 1935 wheat penny is common, but finding one with a verified date error is like striking copper gold. Coin clubs and rare coin investors aggressively bid on these during auctions, sometimes going to extreme lengths just to own a coin that tells a story of American minting anomalies. Collectors prize originality and unclean surfaces, even coins in dirty or patinated condition, as long as the details remain visible, can command staggering prices. Ultimately, what makes this coin so special is its combination of everyday familiarity and extreme rarity in the error variant, proving once again that even the smallest coin can carry unimaginable value, both in dollars and in heritage. Moving on to our next incredible find, the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and a distinct demint mark from the Denver Mint. This particular coin, though widely circulated in its time, is now commanding massive interest due to a convergence of features that make it a standout. First and foremost is the condition. You might think a dirty, circulated coin is worthless, but you'd be wrong. In this case, we're dealing with a highly sought-after dirty condition penny, a term collectors use to describe coins that haven't been cleaned or polished and still retain their original surface characteristics. Even if obscured by grime, authenticity in error coins is everything. In circulated dirty condition, this coin becomes even more valuable because it shows no signs of tampering or artificial enhancement. The 1956 wheat penny comes from a mintage of approximately 1.098 billion. Yes, that's billion with a B making. It's one of the more common wheat pennies in terms of sheer numbers. However, what elevates this specific coin into the elite collector tier is a rare error involving the repunching of the mint mark known as an RPM, or repunch mint mark. This happens when the letter D for Denver was struck onto the die more than once, often slightly off alignment. The result is a visible doubling or shadowing effect of the mint mark, which adds immediate and significant collector appeal. There are several known varieties of the 1956D RPM, but the one featured in high-value auctions is the D North variety, where the second strike of the mint mark appears slightly north of the original impression. These coins, when verified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, have consistently broken price records. The obverse again features Lincoln's iconic bust, while the reverse holds the classic wheat stalks, wrapping around the denomination and national motto. The surfaces of this coin, when in dirty but undamaged condition, provide a unique historical authenticity that many collectors find desirable. Unlike polished or cleaned coins, which often lose numismatic value, dirty coins in circulated condition with a clear error have grown in popularity for those who want raw evidence of minting history. This specific 19560 error coin tells a story of mechanical inconsistency during the minting process and of the sheer volume of coins being pressed during a booming post-war American economy. It's not just about the RPM error, though. Some specimens of this coin also feature minor die cracks, cuts, or lamination flaws, all of which enhance value. These are considered mint defects, not damage from circulation, and are treasured by collectors as marks of uniqueness. In one high-profile sale in early 2025, a dirty but clearly defined 19560 RPM coin with moderate lamination error sold for $312,000 at a live auction in Texas. This sale surprised even the most experienced coin dealers, as the coin had been graded only a U55, far from uncirculated, but its exceptional errors and untouched original condition made it a must-have for a prominent collection. Other less dramatic examples with RPM and surface grime have sold for between $15,000 and $85,000, depending on the prominence of the mint mark doubling and the overall eye appeal of the coin. What makes this coin so valuable in today's market is a combination of nostalgia, rarity in the specific error format, and the increasing demand for American wheat pennies among a new generation of collectors. The wheat cent series ran from 1909 to 1958, and the 1956D is among the last years of issue. As such, it has earned status as a closing chapter coin, the end of an era in American numismatics. Collectors seeking to complete full wheat cent sets are paying top dollar for quality examples of these end-of-series coins, especially with rare errors. Furthermore, investors have begun looking at rare Lincoln cents as alternative assets, betting on their long-term value appreciation as physical artifacts of American history. There's also something undeniably thrilling about finding a coin in dirty circulated condition that turns out to be worth more than a luxury car or even a house. This 19560 large date wheat penny, with its rare RPM error and untouched patina, represents more than copper and zinc. It's a story, a mistake turned into fortune, and a quiet reminder that even coins passed from hand to hand for decades can suddenly become priceless when looked at through the right lens. Next up, the 1947 Lincoln wheat penny comes from a significant period in American history, just after World War II. By this time, the United States was emerging from the war and transitioning into a booming post-war economy. Coins like the Lincoln wheat penny reflected a nation valuing tradition and resilience. The wheat reverse design, with the iconic ears of wheat, symbolized agricultural prosperity and was used on Lincoln cents from 1909 to 1958. This design itself is one of the most beloved and collected in American numismatics. The 1947 Lincoln wheat penny with the large date is especially noteworthy because it was minted only in Philadelphia, meaning it carries no mint mark. This absence of a mint mark identifies it as a Philadelphia mint product, which is essential for collectors. Unlike mint-marked coins, Philadelphia minted cents often have a larger production run, but certain years and varieties, such as the large date in 1947, still carried immense rarity and appeal. In terms of mintage, The 1947 large date no mint mark penny had a production number of approximately 1.5 billion coins. This sounds massive, but when we consider that many were melted, lost, or heavily circulated, the number of surviving coins in collectible condition is significantly lower. The presence of the large date variant itself makes this coin especially desirable. What distinguishes the large date from the small date? Simply put, the size and shape of the digits in the date are noticeably larger and bolder. This subtle difference was an intentional variation by the mint, though the small date is far more common and frequently encountered. Now, focusing on the coin's design features, the obverse showcases the classic profile of Abraham Lincoln, created by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. This portrait is a masterpiece of early 20th century coinage and remains in use on the penny to this day. The reverse features the twin stalks of wheat, arching around the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above this, the motto, E pluribus unum, and the phrase Lincoln wheat cent are prominently displayed. The wheat ears are finely detailed, and their sharpness often helps determine the coin's grade. An important aspect collectors look for in the 1947 large date wheat penny is the color and condition. The coin in question here is circulated with a rusty coloration. Rust on copper coins is a natural oxidation process that occurs when the coin is exposed to moisture and air over many years. While purists typically prefer coins with original red or brown luster, a rusty circulated coin can still command significant interest, especially for such a rare variety. The rusty patina tells a story of the coin's journey, perhaps in a pocket, a cash register, or a coin jar for decades. Now, let's talk about errors and varieties. Although the 1947 large date wheat penny is not famous for major mint errors, minor die variations, die cracks, or planchet anomalies occasionally surface. Among collectors, some enthusiasts hunt for doubled dies or repunched dates, though the 1947 large date's value is primarily driven by its scarcity and the date variety itself. From a market perspective, the 1947 large date no mint mark penny in circulated rusty condition has seen remarkable growth in auction values over the past decade. Serious collectors worldwide prize this coin for its historical significance and rarity. In the current auction market, examples of this coin in average circulated condition can command prices starting around $3,000 to $5,000, but as the coin's condition improves, especially in finer circulated grades with less rust and clearer design details, the value climbs rapidly. Coins with outstanding appeal or with interesting provenance have fetched prices well above $300,000 at prestigious auctions, making it one of the most expensive wheat pennies available. Why such high value? It comes down to the convergence of scarcity, demand, and historical allure. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln cent or wheat pennies often consider the 1947 large date no mint mark a key date because it's essential for a complete and prestigious Lincoln wheat penny collection. Its rarity is accentuated by the fact that most surviving coins are heavily circulated and pristine examples are incredibly rare. The market for these coins has remained robust, especially among advanced collectors and investors seeking tangible, appreciating assets tied to American history. In summary, the 1947 large date Lincoln wheat penny no mint mark, even in rusty circulated condition, is a highly coveted coin with a complex and fascinating background. It's a must-have for any serious Lincoln penny collector and continues to grow in value year after year. Whether you find one in your pocket change or invest in one at auction, owning this coin is owning a piece of American heritage that is both beautiful and valuable.